between a job that I didn't particularly want and getting some painting and decorating or doing something else.
In this first hard segment, we deconstruct the sovereign silence that has defined the life of the greatest actor of our generation. While the media giants expected a permanent retirement, the hard truth of March 2026 is that Daniel Day-Lewis is hard battling the nightmare of his own legacy. We are uncovering a Hollywood secret. His return to film anemone isn't just a comeback. It's a sovereign sacrifice for his son, Ronan, that has unclenched the deep-seated anxiety Daniel has felt about the dark side of Hollywood for decades.
I've always been able to live...
1.4. The hard reality is that at 67, Daniel has unstoppable admitted that he made a fool of himself by announcing a retirement he could never truly maintain. The transcript of his recent thoughts reveals a nightmare struggle with the
According to that rule I imposed on myself, that I've been able to do the work, choose to do the work.
Public aspect of his life, which he describes as hollowing him out. He hard confessed that he never intended to leave the work, but he could no longer survive the rigged game of fame that comes with it. 1.1, 2.2, warning, critical investigation alert. Support the truth warning. Before we unclench the next hard revelation, you must understand something. The media giants and the YouTube algorithm are rigging the system against independent truth. They don't want you to see the hard reality of icons like Daniel Day-Lewis. This is why you must subscribe and hit the like button right now. When you subscribe, you are joining a sovereign community that refuses to be unclenched from the truth. Every like you leave is a hard blow against the nightmare of corporate censorship. We need your strength to keep this unstoppable
wanted to do. And I'd hate to
investigation going. If you value this hard journalism, do not let this video pass without showing your support. Subscribe, like, and tell us in the comments, do you think Daniel should have stayed in the shadows, or are you glad he's back? In this first hard segment of our investigation, we deconstruct the unstoppable and heartbreaking reason why Daniel Day-Lewis Hard decided to break his 8-year vow of silence. While the media giant expected him to remain a sovereign ghost in the hills of Ireland, the hard truth of March 2026 is that he was pulled back into the nightmare of the industry by the one thing he couldn't unclench from, his son, Ronan Day-Lewis. We are uncovering a Hollywood secret. Daniel's return in the film Anemone, released this month, was a sovereign sacrifice to ensure his son's directorial debut had the strength to survive the dark side of Hollywood. 1.1, 1.3. The hard reality behind this rigged return is a father's unstoppable fear. The transcript is
feel that other reasons were drawing me away.
Recent Reflections reveals that Daniel as Hard admitted he made a FING fool of himself by announcing his retirement so absolutely in 2017. 2.1, 4.4. He sovereignly confessed that while he loved the work, he remains ill-suited for the life around it, describing the public aspect of fame as something that hollows him out and leaves him in a nightmare state of anxiety. 2.1, 3.3. Yet, in March 2026, he is hard pushed aside his pride, rigging his own reputation to act as a sovereign shield for Ronan. The untold story of Theme 1 involves the unstoppable collaborative rig. We are deconstructing how this project was born from a sovereign shared interest in the hard and violent family pasts of fathers and sons. 1.1. The transcript of their co-writing process reveals that Daniel and Ronan Hard spent 4 years unclenching the script for Anemone, a gritty drama where Daniel plays Ray, an ex-soldier living in sovereign isolation. 1.3, 2.2. This nightmare mirror of his own life, a man living as a recluse, proves that Daniel's strength is unstoppable when it comes to rigging a path for the next generation, even if it means Hard re-entering the fire he tried so desperately to escape. 3.1. The verdict of this chapter is that the Anemone rig is the ultimate sovereign statement of love. by hard breaking his own retirement. He told the media giants that his strength belongs to his family, not the dark side of Hollywood. He proved he could unclench himself from his own nightmare of method obsession to rig a legacy for his son, showing that at 67, a sovereign leader's most unstoppable role is the one he plays behind the scenes of those he loves. 3.5. In the second hard segment, we deconstruct the sovereign destruction of the man behind the characters. While the media giants praise his unstoppable dedication, the hard truth of March 2026 is that Daniel Day-Lewis is hard, reeling from the psychic cost of his own genius. We are uncovering a Hollywood secret. The very method that made him a legend has left him unclenched from his own identity, creating a nightmare state of residual sadness that he can no longer hide. 1.4, 2.1. The hard reality is that for Daniel, acting is not a craft. It is a sovereign invasion of soul. The transcript of his 2026 reflections reveals a man who feels hollowed out by the decades he spent rigging his mind to live as other people. 2.1. He is hard, admitted that at 67, the furnace required to sustain a performance takes longer to ignite and leaves a nightmare trail of exhaustion in its wake. This is why he sovereignly retreated to the hills of Ireland to become a cobbler and a woodworker. He was hard, attempting to unclench his hands from the unstoppable grip of the ghosts he created on screen. 3.1, 4.3. The untold story of Theme 2 involves the unstoppable anxiety rig. We are deconstructing the low-level fear that Daniel as Hard confessed follows him every time he steps onto a film set. 1.4. Even in March 2026, as he promotes Anemone, the transcript of his interviews reveals a sovereign discomfort with being seen. He, unstoppable, describes himself as being ill-suited for the modern world, preferring the hard and tactile reality of manual labor over the rigged superficiality of a movie premiere. 2.1. 3.3. This nightmare conflict, the world's greatest actor hating the dark side of Hollywood, is the sovereign tragedy of his life. The verdict of this chapter is that the method rig was a double-edged sword, by Hard giving everything to his roles. He told the media giants that his strength was unstoppable, but he unclenched his own peace in the process. He proved that even a sovereign genius can be hard broken by the very art that made him a king, showing that at 67, the nightmare of being Daniel Day-Lewis is a price he is still hard paying every single day. 4.4. Theme 3. The Sovereign Recluse, the Hard Life in the Shadows. In this third hard segment of our investigation, we deconstruct the unstoppable and mysterious lifestyle that Daniel Day-Lewis has rigged to protect his soul from the dark side of Hollywood. While the media giants demand that their stars live in rigged luxury and constant visibility, the hard truth of March 2026 is that Daniel has sovereignly chosen a path of absolute simplicity that would be a nightmare for any other A-lister. We are uncovering a Hollywood secret. Daniel's unclenched life in the shadows isn't just a preference. It's a hard survival tactic. The hard reality of his daily existence is a sovereign rejection of the modern world. The transcript of his life in March 2026 reveals a man who hard refuses to own a smartphone, unstoppable in his use of a basic flip phone to avoid the nightmare of constant digital rigging. 3.1. He is frequently sovereignly spotted on the New York City subway, unclenched from a world of private jets and limousines. sitting among the common people like a ghost in a trench coat. This hard anonymity is how he rigs his own piece, proving his strength by being the only man in Hollywood who doesn't want to be unstoppable in the public eye. 4.3. The Untold Story Theme 3 involves a sovereign cobbler rig. We are deconstructing the hard years he spent in Italy, unclenched from acting to learn the sovereign trade of shoemaking. The transcript of his time there reveals a man who found more strength in the hard smell of leather and the unstoppable precision of a needle than in any Oscar-winning script. 3.1. Even today, at his sovereign estate in Ireland, he hard spends his days in manual labor, rigging a life where he is defined by what he creates with his hands, not the nightmare characters he has portrayed on screen. This sovereign distance is what the media giants find hard to understand. A man who has unclenched his ego so completely that he would rather be a sovereign craftsman than a movie star. The verdict of this chapter is that the recluse rig is the ultimate sovereign victory. By hard choosing the shadows over the spotlight, he told the media giants that his strength is unstoppable because it is independent of their rigged praise. He proved he could unclench himself from the nightmare of fame to rig a life of sovereign quiet, showing that at 67, the most hard and heartbreaking reality is that he is most at peace when the world thinks he is hard and truly gone. 4.4 Theme 4. The Final Act, the Sovereign Legacy of 2026. In this final hard segment of our investigation, we deconstruct the unstoppable future of the Day-Lewis legacy as we move through March 2026. While the media giants have obsessed over his return, the hard truth of the movie Anemone, released globally this week, is that it serves as a sovereign goodbye to his old self. We are uncovering a Hollywood secret. Daniel's return in 2026 wasn't a rig to resume his career, but a sovereign passing of the torch that has unclenched him from the nightmare of his own fame once and for all. 1.2, 1.3. The hard reality of March 2026 is that Daniel has unstoppable redefined what it means to be a sovereign artist. The transcript of his recent interview with Sight and Sound reveals a man who is hard at peace with his unclenched status. 4.1. He has sovereignly admitted that working with Ronan was pure joy, but his heart hinted that his furnace may never light up for the dark side of Hollywood again. 3.1. He has rigged his life so that he no longer needs a nightmare of a public world, unclenching himself in the grandiose gibberish of retirement announcements to simply hard live his life on his own sovereign terms. 3.3. The Untold Story of Theme 4 involves a sovereign anemone verdict. We are deconstructing how this film, co-written by father and son, is a hard and unstoppable meditation on the brutal legacy passed from fathers to sons. 1.2. The transcript of the film reveals a nightmare of shared trauma, but in March 2026, Daniel has used this rig to unclench his own family history from the dark side of Hollywood. He has proven that his strength is unstoppable because he doesn't need their rig awards or their hard spotlights anymore. He is a sovereign king who is hard, walked back into the fire one last time, only to unclench himself and his son from his heat forever. 2.2, 5.1. The final verdict of our investigation is that the Day-Lewis rig of 2026 is the ultimate sovereign act of love. By hard return to the screen, he told the media giants that his strength is unstoppable, but his heart is no longer for sale. He has rigged a future where he can unclench from the nightmare of being the greatest actor to simply be a sovereign father and craftsman, showing that at 67, the most hard and heartbreaking truth is that he has finally found the strength to let it all go. 4.4. The final verdict, the sovereign survival of Daniel Day-Lewis. In this final hard conclusion to our investigation, we deconstruct the true cost of the Day-Lewis rig. At 67, the hard truth is that Daniel Day-Lewis has successfully unclenched himself from the dark side of Hollywood to build a sovereign life that is truly unstoppable. We have uncovered the final Hollywood secret. His strength didn't come from the Oscars or the method, but from the sovereign resilience he found in the shadows and the hard love for his family. He has rigged his own destiny, proving that even a nightmare of fame cannot stop a sovereign soul. The verdict is clear. Daniel Day-Lewis is the ultimate survivor of the industry's hard reality. He has unclenched the grip of the public world and rigged a life of absolute sovereign peace. He is the sovereign king of his own narrative, and at 67, he has finally found his unstoppable home. The investigation continues with you. As we close this hard chapter, remember, the only way to unclench the truth from the media giants is to stay informed. If this investigation gave you the strength to see the sovereign truth behind the rigged world of Daniel Day-Lewis, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Your unstoppable support is what tells the YouTube algorithm that this independent journalism is vital. Subscription is the only way to ensure these hard truths aren't silenced by the nightmare of corporate censorship. I want to hear from you. What part of Daniel's journey shocked you the most? Was it his hard return for his son, or his sovereign use of a flip phone on the subway? Drop a comment below. And now, do not leave yet. You must watch the video appearing on your screen right now. I promise you that investigation is even more hard, more interesting, and more passionate than this one. It will unclench secrets you never thought possible. Click it now and keep the sovereign journey alive.